My wife made me a tea that smelled off. Was it just a bad blend, or something more sinister? Stick around, Jake's Revenge is about to unravel a story that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. My name is Vincent. I'm 34 years old, and I run a small chemical testing laboratory in Spokane, Washington. The cup my wife, Sophia, handed me that Sunday morning smelled wrong. Not coffee wrong, or burnt wrong, chemical wrong. I'd been married to Sophia for 8 years. We met when she was finishing nursing school, and I was starting my business. Back then, she brought me soup during late nights calibrating equipment, laughed at my bad jokes about pH levels, made me feel like the smartest man in the room, even when her family made it clear I wasn't. Her sister, Vanessa, had been visiting for 3 days. 3 days of snide comments about my little science project, and how Sophia could have done better. 3 days of watching Sophia nod along, like she agreed. 3 days of me biting my tongue while Vanessa treated our home like her personal stage for performing superiority. What's worse than a houseguest who insults you? One who might be plotting with your wife. Stay tuned, Jake's Revenge has more to reveal. The night before, Sophia and I had argued. Nothing explosive, just the quiet kind of fight that happens when one person stops defending their husband, and the other stops expecting them to. She accused me of being too sensitive about Vanessa's jokes. I told her I was tired of being the punchline in my own house. We went to bed without saying goodnight. Now, she stood in our kitchen at 8 a.m., holding a steaming mug with both hands, like an offering. Her smile was too bright, too apologetic, the kind that said she wanted to fix things without changing anything. My own herbal blend, she said. It'll help you relax. I took the cup. The liquid was dark amber, almost brown. Steam carried a scent that made my stomach turn. Bitter herbs, yes, but underneath, something medicinal, something like the industrial solvents I use to clean lab equipment. Sophia watched my face carefully. Too carefully. Smells strong, I said. Good strong, she replied. From the living room, Vanessa's voice droned on, probably complaining to our mother-in-law about the guest room towels, or the water pressure, or how I loaded the dishwasher wrong. Her tone was pure superiority, like she was suffering through my inadequacy. I raised the cup toward my lips and stopped. Something in Sophia's expression flickered. Anticipation, maybe? Or curiosity about what had happened next? You're awesome, I said, kissed her cheek, but I didn't drink the tea. I built my laboratory from nothing. 5 years of community college chemistry courses while working construction. Another 3 years saving every dollar to lease a small building on the industrial side of town. Equipment bought piece by piece from bankruptcy auctions. Late nights learning to operate mass spectrometers and gas chromatographs from YouTube videos and borrowed textbooks. The business started with soil testing for local contractors, simple work, checking for contamination. But word spread. Soon, I was analyzing water samples for the city, testing products for small manufacturers, even helping law enforcement with evidence analysis. Nothing glamorous, just honest work requiring precision and patience. Sophia used to brag about my work. She'd tell her nursing colleagues about the time I identified bacterial contamination that saved a daycare from a lawsuit, or how I helped a farmer prove his well water was polluted by an upstream factory. She called me her scientist husband with genuine pride. That pride faded 2 years ago, when Vanessa moved back to Washington after her divorce, spending every holiday, birthday, and random weekend at our house. Vanessa worked in pharmaceutical sales, drove a leased BMW, wore designer clothes, spoke about real science at major corporations, making my lab sound like a hobby. At first, Sophia defended me, reminding Vanessa I'd built something from scratch, that my clients trusted my work, that independence meant something. But those defenses grew weaker, then became laughs, then silence. 3 months ago, Sophia suggested I pivot my career, maybe get a job at a big lab in Seattle, better benefits, more stability, more respect from her family. I said I'd think about it. I thought about my grandfather, who spent 40 years in someone else's factory and died 6 months after retirement. I thought about the farmers, contractors, and city officials who trusted my independence. I thought about the satisfaction of solving problems with my own hands and brain. I also thought about how Sophia looked at me when Vanessa was around, like she was embarrassed, like she wished I was someone else. Yesterday morning, before our argument, I overheard Sophia on the phone with Vanessa, discussing my stubbornness about keeping the lab. Sophia said maybe I needed something to see things clearly. Vanessa laughed, saying she knew exactly what Sophia meant. I thought they meant couples therapy. Now, holding this strange-smelling tea, I wondered if they meant something else entirely. Vanessa walked into the kitchen, carrying her phone and a look of practiced annoyance, complaining about the coffee maker not frothing milk to her specifications. She set her phone down, reached for the cup next to mine. Finally, she said, something that smells decent in this house. Sophia's face went pale. Vanessa, wait, Sophia started, but Vanessa had already taken a long sip. She paused, made a face, shrugged, and drank again. Weird aftertaste, but whatever. I need caffeine. Sophia looked at me. I integral back. Neither of us stopped Vanessa from finishing half the cup. Vincent, Sophia said carefully, you should drink yours while it's hot. I picked up my cup, the one Vanessa hadn't touched, the one smelling like normal chamomile tea with honey. This one? No, Sophia stopped herself. I understood then. 2 cups. 2 different contents. One for me, one that wasn't anymore. I think I'll wait, I said. Let it cool down a little. Vanessa finished her tea and went back to her phone call. Sophia busied herself cleaning already clean dishes. I sat at the kitchen table, watching them both. An hour later, Vanessa started complaining about stomach cramps, mild at first, then intense. She accused Sophia of using expired milk. Sophia suggested maybe Vanessa ate too much rich food the night before. Both seemed genuinely confused. I offered to drive Vanessa to urgent care. Sophia said it wasn't necessary, probably just stomach flu. By noon, Vanessa was vomiting, experiencing severe diarrhea, pale, shaky, demanding a doctor. Sophia paced, wringing her hands, saying she couldn't understand what was happening. I could understand perfectly. While Sophia helped Vanessa to the bathroom for the 4th time, I poured the remaining contents of my cup into a clean sample vial, washed the cup thoroughly, and put it in the dishwasher. By evening, Vanessa was stable but exhausted, no longer vomiting but weak and dehydrated. Sophia insisted we take her to the ER. Doctors ran tests, found nothing immediately dangerous, recommended rest and fluids, possible food poisoning or a 24-hour bug. Vanessa spent the night in our guest room, groaning softly, sipping water. Sophia slept on the couch to be nearby. I slept alone, thinking about the sample vial in my briefcase. Monday morning, I took the sample to my lab. Results came back Tuesday afternoon. Gas chromatography mass spectrometry doesn't lie. The tea contained chamomile, honey, and a concentrated extract of Cassia angustifolia, senna leaf, a powerful laxative that, in high doses, causes severe gastrointestinal distress, dehydration, and temporary incapacitation. Someone had deliberately prepared a cup of tea to make the drinker violently ill. That someone was my wife. I sat in my lab office, staring at the printout, trying to understand why Sophia would poison me. We had problems, yes. She was unhappy with my career. Her family looked down on me. But poisoning? An extreme escalation from nagging about job applications. Unless it wasn't about changing my mind. Unless it was about something else entirely. I drove home early. Sophia was in the kitchen, preparing dinner like nothing happened. Vanessa, feeling better, was at the dining table, describing her traumatic experience on speakerphone. How are you feeling? I asked Sophia. Fine, she said. Worried about Vanessa, obviously. But fine. And how am I supposed to be feeling? She paused, wooden spoon halfway to her mouth. What do you mean? If I'd drunk that tea instead of Vanessa, how would I be feeling right now? The spoon clattered against the pot. Sophia turned, and I saw something new in her eyes, not guilt, not fear, but calculation. I don't know what you're talking about, she said. Senna leaf, I said quietly. Concentrated extract, enough to cause severe symptoms for 6 to 8 hours, enough to require medical attention. Her face went blank. I have no idea what that is. It's what was in my tea. The tea you made for me. The tea Vanessa drank by mistake. You're being paranoid. I'm being scientific. I tested the sample. I have the results. Sophia crossed her arms. You tested what sample? The tea I didn't drink. The tea you watched me not drink. The tea you expected me to finish. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Vanessa's voice droned on about hospital bills and incompetent ER doctors. Even if that were true, Sophia said, which it's not, why would you think I'd do such a thing? Because you wanted me incapacitated, sick enough to miss work, need care, be dependent on you. That's insane. Is it? Because while I was supposed to be vomiting, helpless, what were you planning? Go through my files? Access my computer? Have Vanessa help you look through my business records? Sophia's expression shifted, still denying, but like someone caught in a smaller lie, avoiding a bigger one. I'd never hurt you, she said. But you drugged me. I didn't drug anyone. Then explain the Senna. I can't explain something that didn't happen. We stared across the kitchen island, 8 years of marriage reduced to this, a lab test and 2 people who no longer trusted each other. I want you to leave, I said. This is my house too. I want you to pack a bag and stay somewhere else while I figure out what you were really trying to do. You can't kick me out based on some paranoid theory. I can ask my wife to give me space after she tried to poison me. Most people would consider that reasonable. Sophia grabbed her purse and keys. I'm going to stay with my mother. When you come to your senses, you can call me and apologize. She left without packing, like she'd planned to leave anyway. Vanessa, still recovering, called out, asking where Sophia was going. I said she had errands. Vanessa accepted it and went back to her phone. I spent the evening alone, wondering what other surprises Sophia had planned. Wednesday morning, I did something I'd never done before. I searched Sophia's belongings, her dresser, closet, desk in our home office. I felt like a criminal, but I needed answers. In the bottom drawer of her desk, under old tax forms and expired warranties, I found a folder labeled Vincent Lab Information. Inside were photocopies of my business license, insurance policies, client contracts, financial statements, documents she'd have had to take from my locked filing cabinet at the lab. There were also printed emails between Sophia and James Morrison at Trellix Analytics, with subject lines like acquisition opportunity and small lab consolidation. I read every email twice. James worked in business development. His company bought small labs, incorporating them into larger networks, offering packages to lab owners wanting less stress. Sophia had provided detailed info about my business, client lists, revenue, equipment, location, even photos of my lab's interior and profit loss statements. James coached her on encouraging me to sell, suggesting situational pressure to make independence less attractive, like having family express concerns about my financial stability. The most recent email, dated last Friday, read, James, if he remains resistant to logical arguments, you may need to create a situation where he feels vulnerable or dependent. Nothing harmful, obviously, but something that demonstrates how difficult it is to manage everything on his own. Sophia replied, I think I know how to handle this. James, the goal is to have him contact us voluntarily. If he feels the sale was his idea, everyone benefits. Your finder's fee will be $25,000 once the transaction is complete. $25,000. My wife was paid to sabotage my business and manipulate me into selling. I photographed every document, then called my attorney, Patricia Young, for an emergency appointment. Patricia read the emails and shook her head. This is corporate espionage, possibly fraud. Definitely grounds for divorce if you want to go that route. What about the poisoning? Harder to prove intent. She could claim the Senna was an accident, but combined with these emails, it shows deliberate harm. What should I do? Document everything. Change your passwords, access codes. Move important business files to a secure location. Don't let her back in the house until we sort out the legal implications. Wednesday evening, I changed locks and passwords, called my 3 largest clients, warning them someone might contact them claiming to represent my business. I didn't mention Sophia, but said acquisition discussions should go through me directly. Thursday morning, Vanessa felt well enough to leave. She hugged me, thanked me for caring for her during her food poisoning, hoped Sophia and I could work out our communication issues. I smiled, said I was confident everything would resolve soon. Friday morning, I called James Morrison at Trellix Analytics. Mr. Morrison, this is Vincent Hayes. I understand you've been interested in my laboratory. Pause. Mr. Hayes, yes, I've been hoping to speak with you. Your wife mentioned you might be open to a partnership. She mentioned that, did she? She indicated I was considering options, looking to reduce stress. Well, she was right about the stress. Running a small business can be overwhelming, especially when you can't trust those closest to you. Another pause. I'm sorry to hear that. Business relationships can be challenging. Personal relationships too. But I'm calling to have a direct conversation about your interest in my company. Excellent. Are you available early next week? Actually, I was thinking today. This afternoon, if possible. I'm eager to move forward quickly. That seems sudden. My wife made it clear time is a factor, something about demonstrating my limitations, creating situational pressure. You know how these things work. Silence. Mr. Morrison, are you still there? Yes, I'm here. There may be some confusion about my conversations with your wife. No confusion. I read the emails, every one, including the finder's fee and helping me experience vulnerabilities. Mr. Hayes, you may have misunderstood. I understood perfectly. You paid my wife to sabotage my business and manipulate me into selling. You coached her on creating pressure. The question is whether you want to deal with me directly or explain your practices to the state attorney general. Corporate espionage is a serious crime in Washington. James cleared his throat. Perhaps we should discuss this in person. I think that would be wise. We met at 2 p.m. at a downtown coffee shop. I brought copies of the emails and a statement detailing the poisoning incident. James, younger than expected, about 30, in an expensive suit, looked nervous. Mr. Hayes, Trellix operates within legal boundaries. We don't engage in espionage or illegal activities. Interesting, because I have documentation suggesting otherwise. I slid the folder across. He read, growing paler. These emails were taken out of context. Which context makes corporate espionage legal? We never instructed your wife to break laws. You instructed her to steal my records and manipulate me into vulnerability. That's fraud and conspiracy. James closed the folder. What do you want? Stay away from my business. Cease contact with my wife. If I hear Trellix is targeting other small lab owners in this region, the authorities will know your methods. In return, I don't file criminal charges today. James stood. This conversation never happened. On the contrary, this conversation is why nothing else will happen. He left without goodbye. Monday morning, Sophia came home, poured coffee, sat at the table where she'd tried to poison me 8 days earlier. I think we need to talk, she said. I think we've talked enough. I placed the email folder between us. She glanced at it, didn't touch it. Those are private communications. Between you and James Morrison about selling my business for $25,000. She flipped through the pages, no surprise, no shame, just calculation. You went through my belongings. You went through my business files, photographed my lab, copied my contracts, stole 8 years of my work to sell to strangers. I was trying to help you. By poisoning me. I never poisoned anyone. Senna leaf extract, concentrated to cause severe distress, designed to make me sick, dependent, vulnerable, just like James suggested. She closed the folder. You can't prove intent. I can prove conspiracy, espionage, theft, attempted assault with a dangerous substance. No prosecutor would take that case. Maybe not, but the state licensing board, my insurance company, and James's corporate compliance department would be interested. She stared out at our backyard. 8 years of marriage, 2 years of planning my destruction, 10 minutes of consequences. I need time to find a place to live. You have until Friday. That's not enough time. It was enough time to plan destroying my life. It should be enough to rebuild yours. Sophia moved out Thursday, taking her clothes, books, car, leaving the coffee maker that never frothed milk to Vanessa's liking. I signed divorce papers the next month. Sophia didn't contest, wanted it quiet. She moved to Seattle, took a corporate nursing job. James sent a letter stating Trellix wouldn't pursue acquisitions in Eastern Washington, included a $25,000 check for consultation fees returned due to services not rendered. I deposited it, upgraded my mass spectrometer. 6 months later, my business was stronger than ever. Word spread about my discretion. Law enforcement sent more complex cases. A pharmaceutical company hired me to verify raw material purity. I was busier than ever. On a quiet Sunday morning in March, I made coffee, sat in the kitchen where Sophia handed me poison tea and smiled like she was doing me a favor. I thought about trust, marriage, the price of independence, how close I'd come to drinking that tea, how differently things might have ended. But mostly, I thought about how good it felt to wake up in a house where no one was planning to destroy me. Sometimes, the best revenge is refusing to be a victim. Don't miss the next wild story of betrayal and redemption, right here on Jake's Revenge. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an update.